Commando Larry. Today we're going to talk about why you should not buy this fast intake manifold. I have bought all these intakes. They've all idled like crap, and we're going to break it down and tell you why each one of them sucks. We're going to start with how I got here. So I originally started with this intake manifold. It sucks. This is a Performance Industries, I think they call it. When I bought this 6 or 7 years ago, the stock LS plastic manifolds were stupid expensive, and this was cheap. So I bought this one. Good idea. It actually does okay. Out of all three of these, this is the best one. It ran reasonably well, but didn't idle perfectly. The biggest problem with this intake manifold is it heat soaks. So my Jeep gets really, really high under hood temperatures. This being a big cast aluminum thing, you could watch the intake air temperature just sit there and creep up. And so once it would do this, it would retard timing. And I had it sometimes taken almost 12 degrees of timing out of it because this thing was getting so stupid hot. I did some things with the air temp sensor to, because it was heat soaking the air temp sensor also, that helped that problem. I ultimately got rid of this one because it didn't clearance the steam ports in the heads. And so I tried to modify the bottom of this thing, but I went to the 4-port steam port kit, and it wouldn't clear it. The little pipe that runs front to back, it would hit the bottom of this manifold. And so that's why this one got changed. When I was running this intake manifold, I had a stock GM computer. It was tuned to the vehicle. It was a stock camshaft, stock engine, some little headers, some side mounted, shorty headers. And this intake, it idled poorly. I always struggle with idles. And this was running a mass airflow sensor and a stock throttle body and this intake. And it would die, it wouldn't start and run well at cold. It would stall and stop and do some weird stuff and die and stall. So, okay. Then because of the steam ports, I went to this one. This is the FAST, which is fuel air spark technology. This was their car manifold. I was running car accessories, and I used their 92 millimeter throttle body. I think they make a 96. I think they make a 102, I think. This was their 92 millimeter. It's their kit. It's a little dirty because it's been sitting in my garage forever. This idled just as bad. It cleared all the steam ports. That was good. But it idled just as bad. And I struggled and struggled and struggled with the idle quality. And I just dealt with it. It is what it is. I ended up changing to a Holley Dominator because I kept having control issues with the transmission with the stock ECU. And so I went to a Holley Dominator. The idle didn't get any better. It didn't get any better. I would smoke test this thing. I'd look for leaks. I changed fuel injectors. I drilled the hole that everybody talks about in the throttle body. I did that. It always sucked. I never got a handle on why I wasn't getting what I wanted out of it, right? So, but I'm constantly trying to improve my Commando and make things better. I was going to a truck fan to get the fan stuff to work better because I had electric cooling fans on with these intakes on. I went to the truck accessory kit for I needed a truck fan. So when I went to a truck accessory kit, I needed a truck intake because the throttle body raises up and tilts back. So I thought I was smart. I bought the fast intake manifold. This is the LSXRT 102. Garbage. The worst intake manifold I've ever seen in my life, and the most expensive. The first problem I had with this is the fuel injectors would pop out of the fuel rail. I would have 300, 400, 500 miles, and the injectors would come out of the fuel rail and spray fuel everywhere. It's like, what just happened? I ended up having to, and this is the kit that they sell for this manifold. I ended up modifying the fuel rail and the brackets and drilling holes and elongating things and getting them to seat down better. That resolved that. It was good. No more huge, massive fuel leaks. Idle quality, complete trash. I never got a handle on the idle with this one. The intake manifold fits really, really poorly on this. So this intake, it rubs. You can see where it just destroyed itself over here. I've epoxied these and did all kinds of things. What they hit the heads. So this is a stock head. This little areas, this intake hits it. Oddly enough, fast car intake does not hit. Fast truck intake hits truck head. I don't think it's in the instructions that you gotta do anything. I ground the heads to try to clearance this. It helped, but it already screwed this up once, so that sucked. I epoxied this back and then the epoxy cracks. So that sucks. Mind you, when I'm doing all this, I must have smoke tested this intake for leaks because I was worried about a leak 4, 5, 6 times. It never showed an intake leak. Maybe once it did, and I went back and I put new gaskets on the intake manifold. Absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. So I was working with a remote tuner to help get the idle and get some more things sorted out. And he, in the conversation, he's like, what intake is on this? Like, why is this so weird? And I'm like, well, I got this intake. It's great. And he was like, oh my God, you have that intake. Get rid of that thing. And so we talked more. And sure enough, he recommended any stock intake. I don't care what it is. Any one of them is better than this thing. And so I'm like, hey, I trust you. I'll take your advice. So I bought the Trailblazer SS manifold, the one everybody talks about. And it had to be a rectangle port head because I have rectangle ports. And it had to be one that has the throttle, the throttle drive-by-wire. So I figured out which one that was. It's the Trailblazer SS that everybody talks about. I put that on. Oh boy, that thing fits amazing. All the gaskets, it uses the stock gaskets, which these seal up so much better. This intake uses these gaskets also. These just seal up so much better than either one of these. It just fits amazing. Go figure that, a stock intake fitting. I did have to, because I had all these different fuel rails, my fuel lines are all aftermarket, I did have to buy the Holley, their Holley LS fuel rail kit. It's made to go onto the stock intake. It's super cool. I think I have the old parts in here. The real difference is this is the fuel rails that go to this one, but the Holley one has the clip retaining areas for the stock fuel injector retainers. So the whole problem I had with the injectors coming out of this fuel rail with this combination just doesn't exist with the Holley because they're using this factory retainer clip styles. They give you the whole chart because whatever intake manifold you're running, whatever fuel injectors you're running, whatever this, they kind of give you this chart and says, okay, use whatever bracket's appropriate. Super not clear how to figure that out, but I just kind of, which one works, right? So it's installed on my Commando. I have about 400 or 500 miles on it with this intake. No other tuning. All the tuning I've done with this, I just left it alone. It starts and idles cold. It starts and idles hot. It idles perfectly in traffic. It does everything it's supposed to do. It's like everything it's supposed to do. It's like stock. But it's running a Holley Dominator. It's running a camshaft. It's running a different set of heads, but it idles like stock. The point of all this, hot garbage, stock intake, new hotness. Some of the idle stuff beyond, let's talk about intake air leaks, because I think this always had an intake air leak that I never knew was here. Somebody else pointed out to me that LS motors are very difficult to diagnose intake air leaks. I can tell you, working on LSs at the shop, these gaskets do leak, and you typical straight brake clean, it doesn't find them. You smoke test them, you don't find them. What somebody else pointed out to me, which I think he's right, if you hold the engine RPM up at 1200 RPM, roughly 1215, and get a squirt bottle, not a garden hose, not a pressure bottle, a squirt bottle, and spray the intake, you can hear the change in RPM when the water gets inside there. I think what it is vacuum is different than smoke, than the pressure of smoke. You're not putting much pressure, so it has to be a pretty easy leak. When it's under vacuum, it has a sucking effect, and you don't find the leak until it's in vacuum. So the little water seems to help quite a bit there. When I looked at the difference between all three of these intake and a stock one, this one, the bottom half of this, so if you're able to look down, these intake ports are just big curls, right? And it goes down to the bottom. This is a big hole inside here, right? It's just a big giant cavity. There's no difference in airflow front to back. It goes inside here. It kind of makes its way into the plenum area and then finds whatever hole it wants to go into. There is no trying to even out the airflow between the first two cylinders and the last two cylinders. It just dumps it in. All three of these do this. The stock one has a giant tube inside this thing that has different cutouts trying to distribute the air more evenly. I really think that the air distribution in the stock intake is really what makes the idle the best, outside of not having vacuum leaks, because that'll screw up everything. That's where I'm at. I'm hoping somebody sees this. I'm hoping I would have seen this 6 years ago when I went down this path, but I'm hoping, I've spent, this is $1,000 plus $200 in fuel rails. This is $1,000 plus $200 in fuel rails. This was like 400 bucks. So I have $2,400 here plus throttle bodies. Let's say it's, around $3,000 of crap I bought. Could have went stock. So I hope this helps somebody. I hope if you're having idle problems and you have one of these things, I hope you save some money and so you can sell this stuff. I'm not going to sell any of these things because now that I know they're all problematic, I'd hate to sell problems to somebody. I don't know, if somebody wants these things, I'll give them to you, but I hope I saved somebody some headaches. If you like this video, you like content like this, like and subscribe, and we'll keep doing it. I'm always on a mission to make my Commando the best it can be. It's pretty awesome. But we'll always keep better, always keep improving. So stay tuned, watch for more.